Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
Today, we're going to talk about also what's going to be introduced very soon too is 2 new strategies that are actually being introduced for people that want more trades. We've noticed that some people have even experienced the last 2 weeks. Some people on sniper mode haven't even gotten trades. This could be due to different variables of resetting BPSs for some people who are, resetting theirs because they maybe weren't getting notifications for Arrow or another product. There's some variables, but we have seen that some people didn't even get any trades in the last 2 weeks. We've also seen some people on Sniper have received 1 or 2 trades, and it's been very slow. And we've seen a lot of people getting results in Swing. We've seen some people changing some settings, getting results. So I want to know from you guys what's going on. So I'm going to read the comments off here, and we're going to talk about it. I see that Ronald said Canadian style is 1.7% this week. That's awesome. Andy said swing double take profit this week was 3.1% profits and drawdown on less than 2%. Great stuff. Awesome, Andy. Brian said rough on the AUD CHF. Yep, I can see that. Mariska said, what happened to your awesome GearBox specific disclaimer? I used it last call, but I was running late today, Mariska, and I was trying to find all the tabs to start this call, and I just wasn't finding where I saved that one. So to add to this one though, anything I share on this call is for educational purposes only. There are no settings that are Auvoria Prime settings. Any settings I share with you are developer settings. They are not settings represented by the company. Auvoria Prime does not recommend any settings. They simply license awesome software that helps you get great trade results. To Charles, 4.15% profit with only 3.7% drawdown. Alan Mittman said pretty flat. Brand new, hoping to kick off this week. Awesome, Musa, welcome. D Wald said not a great week. Second week of max pairs not making any profit. 8% DD and increasing. Yep, the one thing about GearBox is depending on the pairs you're getting in, it's also good to analyze if you get stuck in a trend for a long time. Sometimes, it's easier to take a 2% loss and go make it back in a few trades on GearBox. And that's a more advanced strategy, right? But when you get stuck in a trend for an ever long time, sometimes you look back and you just go, I could have gotten out of this a while ago and just taken a small loss and made it back. So sometimes you also have to look at that, right? If you get stuck in a trade and you're in a trade for 2 or 3 weeks and you're like, oh, I'm only 1% drawdown, 2% drawdown, I've just been stuck in this pair forever. Sometimes it's easier to eliminate a pair entirely. Brian White said profit 1.4% and DD currently 6%. A lot of people are saying AUD CHF and yen pairs. Yep, I've an AUD CHF. Let me see something here. Hold on, I gotta close this. There we go. So if we take a look here, AUD CHF has been just trending, and it's on some earlier entries. That is for sure. But we've seen AUD CHF starting to trend. Maybe that means that, hey, should the AUD pairs go up all entirely? That might be a question we might ask on the manager. Do we raise them 1? Do we raise them 2? I know AUD NZD has been performing incredibly for people. I've seen some awesome results from AUD NZD. I'm going to keep reading through the chat box. I just want to pull this up. Sheldon said up 4.1% and only 3% drawdown. Locks at AUD CHF and NZD are causing high drawdown GearBox. Yep, I can imagine the AUD CHF went on a run. You might be seeing some higher drawdown. NZD JPY definitely went on a run. It's been a pair of a nightmare for me. It's why we raised entries recently. I entered back on a Gear 3 on Sniper, and now Sniper is a Gear 5. I would have been a much happier camper had I entered there. Same thing with AUD JPY. AUD JPY was as well moved up. I entered on a 3. I would have been much happier if I entered on a 5. Now let's keep seeing here. We'll start the week strong now. Euro AUD buys and some with CHF sells, Philip said. Awesome. Euro AUD buys. Euro AUD made it to its entry, or are you running a little bit lower entries, Philip, or what levels are those trades on? Because, you know, like I said, many of these pairs, those entries like Euro AUD specifically, take a look here. I mean, Sniper, you got to get to a gear 6. That's a very large move. You know, if we take a look at gear 6 here, this is the wrong chart. Oops. Yeah, this isn't what I'm supposed to be looking at. I knew I pulled up the wrong one. I was like, not 126 pips. Nope. Different screenshot. Personally, I only did 0.5% profit with 10% drawdown on swing this week. Okay. AED, CHF, and 30 pip drawdown. Not bad, Tony. So yeah, so we're looking at the trouble pairs. I always like to explore what the trouble pairs are for people, right? Week to week, we can look and see, okay, what pairs are causing problems? And then, okay, do we run those pairs? Do we get out of those pairs? What are the best pairs to run? And I have a tool. I'm going to be teaching another strategy very soon, you know, for people who want to see more trades. That's very cool. We're going to talk about it a little bit today because it's going to be coming in the new manager. Max said, hey, Tyler, I've had GearBox for 3 weeks now. I've only had one trade. It was a winning one. However, I'd like to know the settings for a higher risk tolerance drawdown that can enter into more trades. And perfect, right on time as I'm just talking about some ideas for the future here. I'm going to show you guys a mock-up today of the new manager and what's to come. I made this mock-up. My developer is actually working on it. Now, let's talk about what this is. And I'm just giving you guys a sneak peek. I always love to show you guys what I'm working on behind the scenes so that you guys can see the future, because we're ever advancing GearBox strategy, the ways you're going to be able to use it. And I'm going to continue to read the comments. Karina said 2 accounts with 1%, 2% profit, and 1 account no profit. Zen still in AJ trade for 4 weeks and on gear 3, 5, and 6. Not sure why it skipped 4. Maybe change in settings. Yep, it would have been the change in settings on Wednesday back then. Because you were on swing settings, and back then on that pair specifically, Zen, I believe we jumped, changed to Canadian settings with 4 max pairs, cut lot size in half. This week was very small, 1%. Yeah, awesome. 170K balance. That's awesome, Zen. You know, I've seen some huge balances lately with GearBox, and don't forget, we are working on the different multiplier, because right now the normal position size multiplier is great. But the larger your balance gets, the more of a retracement you're going to need to get out of a large trend. So we are working on a larger account multiplier. I'd say really for any account over 10 grand, really 20, but you know, anything really over 10 could use it. And it's going to be a multiplier to make it easier to get out of trends as well on larger balances. So we're testing that, working on that. But long to make we all think USD CAD could be the best pair for this week. Awesome. Yeah, I saw USD CAD was crushing it for people this week. Philip said Euro AED dropped 150 overnight. That's the culprit. 150 pip move for Euro AED really is not a large move on Euro AED, right? So you gotta look at some of these pairs and the way they move, and why the entries are where they're at. So let's talk about it, because I know some people have been lowering entries or really love swing, but also when you study some of these pairs that they can trend, right? We take a look at these bottom ones and you'll see there's some on the top that they've trended before. They're not as likely to trend. We're seeing it right now in ADCHF a little bit, but really these are more of the pairs that tend to pull more trendy moves here. And when you look at those, you got to ask yourself, okay, what is a normal movement on those pairs? And you take a look at like GBP NZD, there's times GBP NZD just makes, 800,000 pip moves, right? It happens. You don't want to be on level 0, 1, 2, or 3 of that, right? You want to make sure your entries are high. And the same with Euro AED. I mean, so just make sure wherever you're getting your entries, you want to make sure that they are where they should be. You don't want to be taking entries on 3 or 4 and some of these moves. So keep getting. All right, I'm reading some more of these. I was thinking about, somebody said they're thinking about adding a good implementation of GearBox to other softwares. I'm going to read your comment here in a little. It's more in depth. Get into the Q&A here as well. Nicholas said, need some clarity here. New US customer had GearBox set to H4, hour 4 chart, 17 charts, no new trade opportunities this week. Switched to H1 yesterday, got 2 alerts early this morning. The only reason I know about them is I saw the alerts on my mobile MT4. There was no window or pop-up of any kind of my RDP. In the RDP was no way to enter trade. Hey, brother, you need to go into your back office. The trade notifications are in your Auvoria Prime back office. This is a customer got set up. He said he didn't see any trades all week and then switched to hour 1 yesterday. And he got 2 this morning for GBP, AUD, and Euro AUD. Those are great trades, by the way, I'd imagine right now. All trades are valid for 6 hours. So if you saw those alerts and it hasn't been 6 hours yet, they should still be in your back office in Auvoria Prime, Nicholas. So you're going to want to go to your AuvoriaPrime.com back office. And I've been noticing this as well a lot lately. I've seen a lot of MAV customers getting set up on GearBox and not knowing where to approve their trade alerts, or not even knowing that they have to approve trade alerts. So if you're getting people set up on GearBox, please remind them that, when those notifications come in, they have to approve the trades. It's in the back office. There's nowhere to do it on the VPS. There's nowhere to do it on your mobile MetaTrader 4. There's only in one spot to approve it currently, and that is our Auvoria Prime back office under trade notifications and software notifications. So that would be how you can enter those trades, Nicholas. Peter Bolton, Tyler, I'm looking to put 25,000 euros into GearBox and welcome your thoughts on strategy. Peter, I can't recommend or share anything. I can simply just provide data to help you make an informative decision on what strategy fits your risk tolerances best and your trading style and what you're looking to accomplish. Tyler, this is over the last 2 weeks, 1,100 account up 2.7% over the last 2 weeks, drawdown less than 1%. Awesome. When connecting my GearBox to my FX book, is auto update the right selection? Aaron, auto update is one of the selections you can use, absolutely, to use your investor password to update a GearBox account to my FX book. Yes. All right, I'm gonna read. I see somebody said this, someone agrees with Francisco. This would be a major improvement. So let me read this comment and see what we got going on here. Hey, Tyler, I was thinking about good implementation you should add to GearBox and other softwares. You should suggest use GearBox with a max 4 to 6 pairs trading simultaneously. Unfortunately, I guess this is not a safe setting, not even 2 pairs when they are highly correlated. My suggestion is to add a control which GearBox decides to open or not a trade based on correlation level. The higher, the worse. As an example, actually, GBP is on a bull run on all pairs. Having 4 pairs opened in all GBP is kind of suicide, even if they're mixed sell and buy. As soon as one trade's open on both correlated pairs, trading should be denied on other correlated pairs. It's not a bad idea, honestly. I actually really like that one. So we're gonna bank that one to the screenshots on my desktop, because there's lots of advanced features we'd like to add into all of our softwares. But GearBox is probably the easiest one to add it into right now, since we have the manager. Correlation map here. Yep, I agree with all of this. So I'm going to send this off to my my programmer and see what we can come up with, because I do agree with that. That's actually not a bad idea at all. What will happen if I have some day 1 charts and some H4 charts? Nothing. That's perfectly fine, Mohammed. Those are settings that you can do that won't affect each other. I will tell you, I've noticed some things, and let me hold on. I'm just going to pull up this mock-up again. I end a VPS real quick. But I wanted to pull up this mock-up and show you guys some manager stuff here. Cool. So let's talk about this mock-up here and the new modes and the ideas for the manager. So you'll probably notice that you don't see the take profit settings listed in the modes anymore, like double TP and Ghost plus Real. The plan is that inside the manager, behind the inputs where the smiley face is, you're actually going to have all the GearBox settings able to be customized, and then choose a strategy and deploy it on all the charts with the proper gears above settings. So what's so cool about this is, so you can see that there's going to be some new modes and ways to use the manager. There's still some testing to this. Is probably at least a minimum of a week out, probably 2. But what we're going to do is we're going to add in intraday mode with instant entry, and I'm going to add another weekly call. So we're on my Friday weekly call. My Friday weekly calls are going to be dedicated to precision modes. We're going to talk about swing, sniper, and super on these calls. Now, for those people who maybe need a little more trades or want to see something, I'm going to be teaching 2 strategies with intraday, which have the instant entry strategy where you're entering trades and you're running pairs that typically range and will be paying attention to news. And then I have skip a level, which we're going to focus weekly on 6 pairs. And those 6 pairs are going to be the pairs that are ranging, where we're going to focus on running ranging pairs, but skipping level 0 and scanning 6 pairs, but only allowing, depending on your balance, between 1 and 3 pairs trading at a time. And these are going to be new strategies that are going to be taught as well for people that are looking to use GearBox and getting more trades, or they don't have as much patience. So that's the plan with the update to the manager. So I'm going to read the comments around it, because I'm sure some people have some questions, but I just wanted to come in and show you guys some of the things we're working on as well behind the scenes. Hi, Tyler. I'm in 11% DD and GBP JPY sells. I have not received alerts on other trades. Does that function after a certain DD level? Actually, Sandy, no. You're just not getting other trading alerts. I mean, I'm not sure if you've looked at your VPS, but in regards to it, if you have 11% DD on a GBP JPY sell, you haven't received other alerts or other trades, that's just there aren't other opportunities. But I will tell you, GearBox does stop functioning after a certain drawdown level unless you change the default. The default setting is at 25% drawdown. GearBox will not take another trade. Now, the reason that this setting is in existence is because if something just goes haywire and a major market crash happens, you don't want GearBox to continue to enter trades. At 25% drawdown, my belief is that if you have 75% of your equity remaining without deploying another lot into the market, that you can survive most major market crashes, right? And that's really my goal. My goal is to preserve capital. And of course, you can have a hard equity protector as well. But a lot of people aren't as big a fan of a hard equity protector, because sometimes they'll put it at 20% and it hits, and then you lost 20% and the trade swung back and you would have made 5%, right? And now you're down 20 plus the 5 you would have made. And so for me, I'm not a big fan of the hard equity protector. It does exist, your max equity risk setting, GearBox, but the balance protection setting is that setting for me, because again, I believe it helps keep customers safe. No matter what happens. Yeah, you could get in some drawdown. Yeah, you could get stuck in trades for a few months. But if you are not deploying more lots, your chance of surviving is much better. Yeah, balance protection. Somebody said, let's look at the settings. So let's just pull up an account here. As you can see, this account is out of all USD pairs. I've told you guys I have been exiting USD pairs lately on my account. So I'm just showing you guys that I have many personal accounts that we are not running USD pairs on, but this is actually the new version. There's actually another version with an update to this with a sign out button. I know some people have been requesting the sign out button in case you log into the wrong back office. I have to it's basically this version I've been testing all week, but I have to test it right now and confirm that the sign out works properly, and I can roll that update out, and it'll be like 9974, which is the plan for tonight, latest tomorrow morning, to push fully to production. So you all know there will not be anything needed from you on this update if I push it out tonight. There will be no reauthorization. Unfortunately, that happened on the last update, something with the API update, as we did update the latest API for integration. But yeah, so to show the settings that many of you were asking about, let's talk more about the settings, right? Because I know there's some new people on the call. There's people who still, I might be sounding like I'm speaking Chinese too. So I wanna make sure that I am not going too high level detail with you all, and I wanna make sure everyone understands what's going on. Sandy said, so if the last post he said he received 2 alerts this morning, why would that have not come to me as well? Thank you for all you do, Tyler. Sandy, so this is a great question. I'm glad you asked this question, because a lot of people might be saying, hey, I'm on sniper settings and I didn't get a trade this week. Well, John said he's on sniper settings and he got 3 trades this week. Why is that? So let's explain that. And I wanna actually talk about it. So the first reason is everybody's account trades entirely differently. And what do I mean by that? I mean that you all have different brokers. Every broker is trading a different tick off, meaning that all of your charts, if you were to pull up two accounts, you could start them at identical times, even like 1 second apart on the same broker. And if you come back to it in a few days, you're going to notice that all of the charts have different gears they're trading, right? So you'll notice different ghost gears on every single chart. Even if you started these accounts 1 second off on the same broker, you're going to come back in a few days and notice they're all trading entirely different. Now, you might ask, how does that happen? And well, the truth is that's the difference between what 1 second trading off could do, because you have to remember the ghost trades are trading at the immediately. So one tick off could be the difference between one pair hitting a take profit and your other account that started a second later just missing that take profit and going back into drawdown, taking another level and not getting it right. Then I'm not sure if you're following what I'm saying, but because of this, everyone's account will trade entirely different. The other variables outside of that for why that could happen is maybe you started yours a few minutes later, maybe you're on a different broker, maybe your VPS froze for 5 seconds and somebody else's didn't. There's lots of variables to why something like this could happen and people trade differently. Then once we get into when people are receiving a lot of trades, people will go, okay, I'm in this pair, this pair, and this pair, but John's in this pair, this pair, and this pair. And the reason for that is, again, that same reason. You're all trading one tick off, which means that your account might find a trade on CHF JPY, AUD USD, and GBP USD, whereas Jack's account might be trading AUD NZD, CAD Swiss franc, and Euro AUD. So everyone's accounts trades very differently. None of you are ever going to have the same take profit and stop loss. This is also by design, meaning that our entire customer base isn't taking the same trades in the same pairs because one major event could take out an entire group of people if they're all in the wrong move. So by security and design as well, GearBox is designed to trade completely different. All right, I'm gonna keep reading through the questions. So the balance protection setting I was talking about earlier is right here. It's 25%. This means that at 25% drawdown, it will not take another trade. It's going to stop trading entirely and just completely just stop. I was checking a friend's VPS with GearBox today, as I did days ago, and they're noticing huge differences on gears calculated within the same pairs. Yep, this is, we reset all charts yesterday. I would never reset all charts in GearBox managers. Remember when you do that, all the accounts are going to differ. Yeah, I just explained this to Francesco, how they would all be different. And resetting them would also be how they're different. Anytime you reboot a VPS, the ghost gears are going to change and every pair is going to trade totally differently. It all depends on when you start the account, because remember, it starts trading when that EA loads. Anytime you reload the EA, it resets the ghost gears. I'll give you an example. Let me go find a pair real quick here on this VPS that has some higher ghost gears. And we're just going to reset it. It's Friday. No harm done. I'm not looking to get in any trades anyways. Let's go to Euro AUD. There we go. Buy 4. All right. I'm going to go change a setting. I don't even have to change a setting. If I just hit OK and reload this EA, right? The best thing to do is hit X if you're just viewing your settings. But if you hit OK, normally it clears. We've been working on some updates, so it might not clear. If it doesn't clear, I'll be stoked. But normally it's going to clear and reload the EA. And these gears are going to reset. Might take a minute. I'm running a lot of gearboxes on this VPS, as you guys know. Lots of gearboxes on one VPS, not the best thing. And let's see if it resets. I don't think it actually reset in that case. Nope, it did not reset in this case, which is awesome. We've been making some improvements. So it looks like we made an improvement to where if you hit OK without changing a setting, it does not reset anymore. So great news. Now, if you start to change settings, it's definitely going to reset. And the goal is, though, these can reset at any time. I even reboot this VPS, they're all going to reset because the EA is going to reload. If I close this terminal and reopen it, there's lots of variables, and that's why everyone's going to trade differently. Alar, great question. He said with the balance protection 25%, it doesn't open new sequences or new trades. No, it doesn't open a single new trade. It'll continue to modify your take profit. Like let's say a trade hits a stop loss, it'll raise the take profit on the sequence, even though you're not taking new trades. So it'll still manage the trades. That's what's great about balance protection. It'll still manage your open trades, but it will not open any new trades. We also have what's known as protect initial deposit mode. Protect initial deposit mode by design is to make sure that if your account ever took a loss below the initial deposit, that it stops taking a trade entirely as well, unless you reset that. So these are great settings just for protecting capital with any software, because at the end of the day, it's a software and the market conditions, things can go crazy at any time. So why not trade with a product that that even if something goes completely against you, it's going to be there to still modify, manage, and help, but it's not going to get you into any more risky situations. All right. When and why do we need to reboot your VPS Gearbox? You don't need to reboot your VPS and Gearbox unless you want to receive your updates instantly. I would tell you that it is a good habit to reboot VPSs typically once a week. Some people don't do this, but it's a good habit. A lot of people aren't doing that though, because they've been running this new setting. A lot of people don't like to clear their ghost trades. They leave their ghost trades running. They don't clear them at the beginning of the week. For me, I've been a big fan of clearing them just because I want to wait for the most precise move before I get into a trade. As not deleting them could also possibly land you up in some better trades, but could also land you up in a riskier trade. I mean, it's all personal preference. I've seen some amazing results from people who are not deleting these as well, though. Yeah, Zen, I did read your comment. This is actually something to be addressed. It's actually addressed in this update right here. So I see what you're saying. I've got 6 trades with a cumulative 1.8% this week. Sniper double take profit, but today it opened 5 new trades, currently minus 3%. Settings are default, max 3 open trades. Why is that? Well, if you have 6 trades that made you 1.8%, and now today you have 5 new trades open, currently minus 3%. I know you said settings are default. I don't really know what default means, because the default you shouldn't be running just the default. If the default's just you drag Gearbox on a bunch of charts, that's not good. You're going to want to choose a strategy based around the manager, because the manager's data lines up with the entry data of the historicals based on the strategy you want to choose. So if you're telling me you're on default, I don't actually know what default means. Are you running swing? Are you running sniper? Are you running super sniper? What pairs are you running and scanning? How many pairs? There's a lot I didn't get from your question there, your message. I'm going to keep reading through. If I change broker, will it lose all the legacy and need to start from scratch? Alok, I'm not sure what you mean. If you change broker, will it lose all the legacy and need to start from scratch? If you're referring to MyFX book, yeah, your MyFX book will stop running on that broker because it's connected to a broker. If you are, I'm not understanding what you mean by lose the legacy, Alok. Jesse Muniz, great question. He said, what if you reboot while Gearbox is in open trades? That's not a problem because it'll pick up the open trades when it restarts and put them in the Ghost server. It has the ability to pick up any open trades that are from the software. It's just any Ghost Gears trades that aren't in the real market on your physical account, they get reset on a reboot. Let's keep going in the chat here. DeWalt said, hi, Tyler. Have you started testing commodities or indices? DeWalt, it's actually what I'm starting this weekend. I have my handy notebook here, and it's sitting in front of me, and it's actually on a list. I already have a bunch of demo accounts laid out to connect and testing ideas. Nayla said, which is the best strategy, swing or sniper? They have their own benefits. Swing, let's talk about pros and cons. I'll tell you. what's the pro and con on a swing setting? Okay, well, pro is you're going to get more trades and potentially make more profit. Okay, now what are the cons? Maybe you get in a trend where something trends against you for a long period of time, and you could have had a later entry and preserved some of that loss, or maybe you hit a stop loss on the swing entry that could have been avoided had you been running sniper. There's lots of different reasons. Carlos, no, actual trades won't reset. Any open trades are fine. You can reboot the VPS, restart your terminal. Open trades are unaffected. Zen Trader, that has not happened yet, but that is in the plans to have it to where you could change the gear level midweek and it won't reset gears. We are working on adding to the GearBox itself what settings you can modify and manage without it causing a reset. These are things we're trying to work on and figure out methods to, and I will keep you posted as we get some more of those solutions. But for right now, we're starting with this new manager. We want to start, I'm going to pick up a weekly call as well on, I'm not sure what day yet, but I'll let you guys know where I'm going to be teaching the intraday modes. And then, like I said, these Friday calls that we're doing right now, these will all be focused around precision, and we'll continue to educate on these different strategies. I'm going to keep reading through the Q&A here. Can we run multiple accounts on GearBox? I'm not sure what you mean, Hillard. You can buy multiple licenses of GearBox access in your Auvoria Prime back office, and you could use GearBox on multiple accounts by buying more access passes. Absolutely. Anonymous attendee, at what point does GearBox cost average, and how does it know when it's in a bad trade? Well, the main thing is GearBox doesn't actually know when it's in a bad trade, right? Let's talk about this. This is software designed around historical performance and data, and it's up to you to know when you're in a bad trade. GearBox is going to focus on doing what it needs to do, but if it comes to getting into a bad trade, sometimes you have to be able to look at a trend and go, I've been stuck in this trade for 2 or 3 weeks, and you know what? I just don't even want to be in it anymore. I'm just going to close it for a small loss, right? That's up to you. GearBox will continue to use the strategies it's programmed with to manage, modify, and get out of that trade as it sees fit, and try to preserve and protect your capital with all the risk management features in place. But we can't give the software too much credit at the same time to say, oh, does it know when it's in a bad trade? Absolutely not. It thinks it's in an incredible trade, and it's just using the strategies that it was programmed to use to manage, modify, and get out of that trade. So I want to make that very clear, and you're in full control. Mauro, great question. If we're in the middle of some trades, we're not able to close them by Friday, what happens if there's an update during the weekend and GearBox logs clear? No, that's not the case. Mauro, any open trades are continued to be managed. Just any trades that were not open, typically when the software update happens or a software reboot or anything like that, the ghost gears get reset, and that's normal because by default, the settings inside of GearBox clear the ghost trades at the beginning of each week, unless you've been changing that setting to no. So let's show that setting again so everyone's clear on it. Your ghost gears are always resetting unless you're changing this setting on your own. No matter what, they're going to reset at the start of the week, right? Unless you change this to no. And even then, if you reboot your VPS or a software update happens, it's still going to reset them currently. But during the weeks there's not software updates and you don't reboot your VPS, if you had this set to no, it's not going to clear. That is correct. Best settings for max amount of trades. I don't know what you're asking, Max. But best settings for max amount of trades may not be, this is, you're asking me for the max amount of trades. I mean, I could give you settings that'll get you a lot of trades. Doesn't mean you're going to make any money. So I'm not sure that's the question you wanted to ask me. So Miles said, so if we want to test the setting of turning off ghost trades and we reset our VPS every weekend, is that going to delete the ghost trades anyways? That's correct, Miles. It will delete them anyways. If we are using the most recent manager, aren't all pairs entering in the most updated entry levels? Euro is already being updated on swing. So Philip, you're going to want to make sure, because we've seen some people, and this is an important thing to mention, Anytime you want to change your strategy, we added this button to the manager. All right. And here's how you can make sure you're getting the proper entries. And there's a video I released on this when GearBox first came out. You want to make sure it's actually putting the proper entries in for the pairs you're running. So how can you check this? You go turn the comments on. How did I do that? I went to my VPS. I went to the accounts right here and I went to turn on comments. You can see the gear level. As long as that gear level matches the entry you see on this chart. So for example, NZDCHF swing for me. Okay. I have 3 here and I'm in a 4 as you see, which means it was after Wednesday, because after Wednesday, it always increases by 1 anyways. So that aligns, right? So you're going to want to go look at your OAD and go, okay, am I in a 5 or 6 trade for my first entry? And if the answer is no, what we've noticed happens is if you have your VPS bogged down when you're using the manager, it may actually never fully get to apply all the proper settings because some people start making their own changes right after. And what I mean by that is after you use the manager and before, all right, so if you're trying to change your strategy, please hit remove all first. And I'm just going to do this to show you guys because, again, I don't care to get in a trade on this account at this point. But I hit remove all, and it might freeze for a minute, but give it a second. As you see, I'm running 6 GearBox terminals on this VPS, so you can imagine things are a little boomy. Yep, again, my not responding. But what it should do here is it's going to go ahead and it's going to remove GearBox from every single chart. And the reason I'm showing you this is the feature you're going to want to use before you apply a different strategy. You're going to want to hit remove all, and then it's going to remove GearBox from every single chart it's on that VPS or on that terminal of that VPS. And then you're going to be able to reapply your right strategy. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure on these pairs that proper entries are set once the manager's done. So how can you check to make sure the proper entries are set? Well, you're simply going to want to go ahead and just go here, and there we go. You can see it just took GearBox off every chart. Look at that. GearBox is now off all my charts. So I showed you that's the best way to do that. Now, what am I going to do here? I can come back in here, choose my strategy, and it's going to go reapply GearBox to every chart. And then what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to go and make sure that all the proper settings are set, but I want to give this a minute or two, right? You don't want to start trying to open charts and anything, give them a second, let it run, do its task. And then after you believe it's done doing its task, which it looks like it's done here, I don't see it modifying any more charts. I can go in here and I can confirm that it set the proper entries. And you can see in this case, it actually didn't even delete the ghost trades for me. So we're making some improvements. I haven't made any announcements about it. I tell everyone it always reboots because sometimes it still will reset them. But as you noticed, it didn't reset this one. We have been making some improvements on trying to get them not to reset. But I haven't made any public announcements about it because then everyone puts in a support ticket the minute they do reset. So if they reset, they typically do. If they don't, awesome. As long as they reset at the beginning of the week with this feature on, that's all that really matters to me for right now. But yeah, the point was to show you that's, you can see the settings are correct for me, 5 and 6 entry. So you're going to want to just verify that, that is the entries you're getting. Can we switch some pairs to buy or sell only? So Andre, currently that setting is not what you think it is. So a lot of people ask about this setting, and I'm gonna cover this because it's not an actual GearBox setting. In the common tab, you have the ability to enable long or short only positions. This is not a GearBox feature. It actually doesn't even work. You're gonna want to leave this in long and short on, because if you actually change it, it actually just throws GearBox in a loop where it's resetting the ghost trades constantly. It doesn't function. It's a MT4 feature, not a GearBox feature. Inside GearBox, we will most likely add in the near future an ability for you to choose only longing or shorting when that trade position hits. But yeah, for the time being, that actually just throws GearBox in a loop because of the ghost trades if you try to do that. So we're working on adding it as possibly a setting in here. Can we add an indicator to GearBox to see separate gains and losses on longs and shorts on long held trades to help with the decision to get out manually? I'm not sure I'm understanding that question necessarily, like a pip counter. There's a lot of things actually on the display already. You have your weekly floating, you have your symbol profit and loss, and your symbol drawdown. So you can actually look at this specific pair and see what the profit and loss on it currently open is. And you can see your current drawdown percentage. And then you can see the weekly floating on the entire account. So you already have a lot of, things there. So yeah, I just wanted to cover that and see. And then weekly floating obviously goes positive and drawdown turns to 0 when this is positive. So, just different layers of things already. I'm not sure what else you're looking for. So, Zen, this is a great reminder for people as well. Yes. So let's talk about this. As a reminder, when your max levels is set on 8, that means it'll not take gear trades above 7, actually. And I need to get the visual out for this. Give me a second. I'm going to find the gear entry. Gear entry data. There's what I was looking for earlier and shared the wrong thing. All right, let me share my screen back here. So, oops, no, let's not rotate that. So let's talk about this. So level 7 is 8. This is max levels 8. Okay, so what I mean by that is 0 is 1, 1 is 2, 2 is 3, 3 is 4, 4 is 5, 5 is 6, 7 is 8. Right, so that makes sense. So if you have your max levels inside GearBox set at 8, right now in this pair it's set as 12, but if it was set at 8 and you were entering on a 6 or a 7, that means you can only enter 2 or 3 trades, because it's not saying max number of gears open in the real market. This is the max number of gears including the ghost market. So if you're entering on, in this case, I'm entering on a gear 6, that means I can enter 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 with max number of gears set at 12. If this is set at 8 in this example and I entered on a 6, okay, what does that mean? That means that I can enter 6 and 7. I can only enter 2 trades in that case. If I entered on 7 because it was after Wednesday, I can't even take another trade. So yeah, that's why on those more trending, higher trending pairs, some of them are set to 12 on like the GBP pairs and Euro AUD. Nayla said, if you change one currency, expert settings does apply to all the currencies. No, you have to change it one by one. That's why I was talking about the update to the GearBox Manager. Soon, the plan is with this GearBox Manager that behind in the input section, you'll be able to apply all the custom settings you want to all the charts at once. That is the plan with the updated managers that are coming. Pros and cons of entering trades on Friday. Pros and cons, there's swaps. You're going to get on them immediately over the weekend. Pros, maybe you get a great trade. Yes, I've never been in a level 7 trade yet, so that's why I forgot. Thanks for clarifying. Wow, Zen, never been in a level 7 trade. Well, that'll change. Trust me, as you keep using this product, you'll see those level 7 trades one of these days here. I've seen lots of level 7s in my life. Felicia said, is it okay to switch brokers? Can I hook up BTC to Bitcoin over the weekend? If you're asking if you can switch brokers to use a broker that has a Bitcoin denominated account to trade GearBox on a Bitcoin denominated account, absolutely, Felicia, you can do that. But if you have open trades, you would have to close them to withdraw that equity, most likely with your broker. So yeah, I'm not sure all the details. Let me go back to our Q&A section. That box always disappears on me. Here we go. Gracie said, which end would you recommend for 1K, 3K, or 5K if you're brand new to Forex? Again, I can't recommend anything, but I can tell you I'm a big fan of, really the sniper strategy. Sniper is really my fan. Now, for people that need a little more trades, I'm going to tell them swing, because it will get into more trades, and, some people need to see that. Can we have the pairs gear spreadsheet sorted back by the pairs instead of the gears? Molly, yeah, I can do that as well. Will you release my FX books? Brent said, yes, Brent, we will release the my FX books. When you show results from the past 40K account, do you have a delete function of ghost trades in weekends? Because I hear in the past there was no function for deleting ghost trades. There's always been a function for deleting ghost trades since that account started. The function for not deleting ghost trades in the past was like a year ago in my early beta phase of designing GearBox based around the initial base strategy that I'd been using for 2 years. Can GearBox trade BTC and Ethereum? No, John. Do not trade GearBox on cryptocurrency pairs. You can use a crypto denominated account to grow your crypto and use GearBox in its normal fashion. And that is the only way I would do that with GearBox. But yes, do not put it on the Bitcoin or Ethereum pairs. Zen said, what an awesome EA you create and continue to improve, worth every penny. Much gratitude to you and dedicating so much time to this product and the users. Andy said, your AED just opened a level 7 on my swing setting this morning. Oh, that's a great trade, Andy. You're going to love that one. I can't wait to see how, I love when those level 7 trades hit and it's like your sniper entry, you make so much profit. But all right, everybody, let's get into the last bit of this call here. We've been on here for a while. I want to get into Forex Factory real quick, talk about the upcoming week and what's going on. I do see one last question I'll cover before that, though, here. Jesse said, so if my settings now are 0.02 with 15 max pairs and I want to reboot and change to 0.03, add more pairs. So when you say 15 max pairs, Jesse, not Jesse, it says Jesus. I would never trade 15 max pairs. I don't know what your balance is, what you're doing or your strategy, but keep in mind, most people are running between 3 to 6 max pairs trading at a single time. If you're saying you have 15 pairs open, that's okay. But if you're saying you're trading with the setting 15 max pairs, I would highly, in a 0.02 starting lot size, I'd really hope that you have a very, very large balance in there. If not, I would really, I can't advise anything, but I would definitely just not do that. Yeah, Zen, I'll shoot you a private message about that. I have 2 pairs running. Okay, Jesus, you have 2 pairs running. Okay, that's good. 2 max pair setting. Okay, Jesus, that's fine. That's good. That's okay. Now let's get into Forex Factory. Isaac said you didn't answer my last question. Isaac, I don't know which one it was. If you want to repeat it so I don't have to scroll back through here. I try to answer them all, but let me get into Forex Factory and then any questions I didn't answer, get them here real quick so I can cover them after Forex Factory, and then we will wrap this call up for the day. But my goal is to get into some more development and hopefully get you guys an update for at least GearBox out today. And then, like I said, the new manager is to come in the very near future. We're working very hard on it and testing it. But let's go ahead and get into Forex Factory here. I'm going to close all these. Okay, so we'll take a look at the news for now till the 27th, and we're going to take a look here. And as we see, we have a nice week coming up. It looks like really only USD. And to be honest with you guys, I'm debating adding USD pairs back this week. I'll make a final decision later tonight and send it in my Telegram announcement on how I'm managing accounts. But I've been seeing good results on the USD pairs from the people who are still running them and on my data accounts. So I am thinking of adding back on the USD pairs for now. We do see some red folder around NZD this week, so we will want to watch out for that for anyone running the NZD pairs. CAD, 1 red folder, nothing too crazy, but most of it's around the USD pairs, it seems, and a lot of yellow folder. But really, again, we only pay attention a lot of the time to, the orange and the red, the yellow, not too much excitement there, but the red's really what we're paying the most attention to always is red folder news events, because these are the things that can actually send the market trending in one direction, which is really where, GearBox can perform well, but it also could not perform if you get into that trend too soon, right? Which is what we're constantly looking at. Do we have the proper entries for all scenarios to have the most profitable position? And we're going to continue to advance that until this product is the best product it can possibly be. And week by week, we do that with all of your guys' help and all of the data and us all working together. In my settings, it's set to trade 5 pairs at the same time, but 2 more has come through with a high stop loss, something to worry about. I'm not understanding, Isaac, if you want to maybe send a support ticket in. I still don't understand your question here, and what you're saying. Yeah, if two more trades has come through on your 5 pairs with the higher lot size, that's not anything to worry about. That's just cost averaging. That's the normal GearBox strategy. It increases lot size and cost averages. But all right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I got to get running here. We've been here for almost an hour, and I will see you guys all in the next one. And I look forward to all the updates coming and another amazing week of trading. Thank you all.